This is a playtest sheet of one of my newest card games I've been designing. And this is really important because this is basically the draft version of your game. It's like writing a draft of a book or a draft of a script for a movie. There's a lot of things that you need to iron out later on, but the playtest is where all the fun stuff happens. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the importance, why you guys should make them and how. So playtest cards really allow you to get a feel for a game, because if you work so hard on a game and then when you finally publish it and don't even have any backing of playtesting for it, when someone plays it, maybe they'll find a lot of mistakes and it just might not be as fun as you might have thought it would be. But if you do the playtest stage, you can fix all those things, make another playtest set, fix them, change, experiment, and then your game is really fun and polished. It's like editing a book. You're gonna make changes until it's really good and enjoyable. You can also test out archetypes. That's honestly why I use playtest cards, because I pretty much know how to design a balanced game, but most people don't when they're first starting out. Even as an experienced creator, still testing out different archetypes and how they play is really important. So having just any game system to just test out archetypes in is good. And archetypes are basically a set of cards that all kind of synergize together, but kind of win the game in a different style. There's aggro, which focuses all on killing your opponent right away, not really much defense. There's combo decks that use a bunch of cards to finally build up a huge combo that will win the game, but it's risky and it can, have downsides. There's stall and other fun ones. So I'll be making videos on how to design each archetype in the future, but playtest cards are really good for that. So when most people make playtest cards, they actually don't use art. They just make, a bunch of blank cards with just the abilities and the stats. But I used to do that and I really don't like it, because when I look back, it's not like I'm very proud of those games. So recently I've been making playtest cards with actual just quick concept art. It's not like you have to put tons of time. The art shouldn't be the main focus. It's just to playtest the game. But if you play it with friends, especially like having just funny cards, like meme cards, is really fun. It can spice up the game. And it's basically the non-professional step of the game. So have fun with it. Maybe you even try different art styles, like maybe you try a thatching technique or something for shading. There's a lot of things you can do with playtest cards, but they don't really matter. So just have fun with them, make them abstract, do whatever you want with them. It's like your sandbox before you have to kind of file it down into a polished game. Another fantastic thing about making playtest cards is you really only have to make one of each card. You don't have to make like 3 welders. You can just make one, take a picture, and print out a bunch more. So that way, if you want to make a 40 card deck, you really only have to make 13 to 14 cards, because then you can just make your deck have 3 copies of each, or 4. So that's really nice. And being able to only make 14 cards of each thing, then you can make 2 14 card decks and have enough to playtest the whole game. That's all you have to do. So there's not much effort you have to do when making playtest cards, but it's a very important step that you really shouldn't skip. You can also use untap.in. I'll leave a link in the description on how to upload playtest cards onto that website and play with people online. It's really fun, really easy, and it just allows you to playtest your game if you don't have anyone in your area to actually play it in person. That way you can just make 14 card sets, and each set can playtest a new mechanic, a new win condition. Because when I make TCGs, I design tons of sets of cards, and I just make a bunch, and then I just kind of boil it down into things that I like and things that worked. But if you use like all your experimental things into one game, you might not get the full taste of everything. Usually doing 1 to 2 new things in each playtest one will allow you to really focus on that element and see if it works. And if you're having a trouble like designing archetypes or making abilities for your cards, what I sometimes do if I don't have any ideas for an archetype is I look at other card games. I just pull out my Magic cards, look at some cool abilities, and then kind of base them or inspired them because of that. Or you can look at videos like, what are the most fun card abilities in Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! And you can kind of try to implement that into your game. So there's a lot of fun things that you can test out. Again, playtest cards are really fun. And I remember, I think, watching a Magic the Gathering documentary saying how a lot of the early Magic playtesters just said it was the most fun time to play the game, because there was things that were new, there was broken cards, but it was just fun because it's not like it was a tournament, it just was a fun process. So don't just think that, this is just going to get me to the next step of my game. No, really enjoy that process and just make funny cards, have fun with it, experiment, test out new things, And just in general, make playtest cards because they will help you so much. And even if you don't use the game system, you can still look back at the cards and look for character ideas and basically remaster them. My favorite thing is to take playtest cards and then just really go all out on the art and remake it. It's a really cool progression that you get to see. So if all else, or if at all else, you do get that. But that was this video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope it helped, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.